Hey guys, my name's Simon. When I was younger, I used to play so much sport, man, like you wouldn't believe it. Like, you name any sport and I've tried it. My behaviour became a lot about success and being successful, and if you weren't getting first at something, you were last. So that mentality for me really wasn't good. If I wasn't winning at a match of squash or something, then I would get in a real grump, and it would sort of be like the end of the world to me. That's all I'd ever known was the sport, and only winners get the glory sort of thing. I got invited by this friend to a youth conference called Get Smart one year, and I decided to go, and it really changed my life. I remember I was standing in about the third or fourth row up the front, and the preacher did an altar call, a healing altar call, and he was praying for people, and all these miracles were breaking out on the stage, and I so badly wanted to be a part of it. I'd had this niggling knee issue that had been bothering me for about a year at the time, and so when he gave the call, I put my hand up. He prayed for us as a group, and I can remember this tingling feeling in my knee, and the pain began to leave. Beforehand, it had been sort of 24/7 pain and aching, and it just left. And to this day, it hasn't come back. And it's a total miracle, and I thank God for that so much. And right in that moment, my life changed, my heart changed. I became aware of this whole other area of my life that had been missing. There's this, you don't realize until you have the fulfillment that God gives you of His presence in your heart. You don't realize that it's missing until you feel it for the first time. And all of a sudden, without even realizing it, winning didn't matter to me anymore. All that mattered was that I was happy, and I felt fulfilled in God's presence. And somehow this void had just been filled in my spirit. And so for me, I carried on with my sport because that was always my passion. And eventually I got into track cycling, which for me really quickly progressed, and I became very, very good at it. Sport was still, probably the biggest area of my life. And it came to a time, this is after I'd been going to church for a wee while. My coach sat me down one night after a training session, and he started to talk to me about my commitment to the sport. He started talking about Junior Worlds, the championships that were coming up, and they were going to be held down here in my hometown. As he described who I would become, who I could become in sport, racing and representing the country that I live in, all of a sudden my heart became distant from the thought of that. And I realized that my heart belongs in the church. With the cycling, I realized that I would be spending so much time training that I wouldn't actually be able to come to youth. I wouldn't be able to come to church. And my heart sort of broke in that moment during that conversation. And after leaving that conversation, I'd made the decision in my heart that I was going to follow God. And to this day, I don't regret that decision at all. Now from coming to church, I've learned to play the guitar, and that really is my passion now. The fulfillment that I get from playing music and just worshipping our God is so much greater than the fulfillment that sport ever gave me. And my encouragement to you is let God become God over every area of your life. Let Him take over your heart, and let Him show you where your call lies. Let Him lead you to the place where you're meant to live your life. Let Him show you the direction that you're meant to take.